the Pure study was presented, and this was an international study, a very large study, examining sodium excretion and the relationship to blood pressure. Now, this has become a controversial area as of late, with differing opinions from different professional societies about how much salt is too much salt. But what I think this study nicely showed was that greater degrees of sodium excretion, or in other words, greater salt intake, essentially, does raise blood pressure by a couple of millimeters per gram, though that's only true at the higher ranges of sodium intake.
I think the important part of this trial also was the ability to convert a single urine sample of sodium into an estimate of daily intake, which is a very convenient tool for a large population study. I mean, trying to do a survey of that many people for sodium intake or do blood levels is pretty tough. I think the conclusion here was that the people that demonstrated high sodium intakes were actually the people in the higher blood pressure group.
That's correct, and I think that's an important point. Really, it was folks that had high blood pressure at baseline and older people that were more susceptible to the blood pressure increases due to dietary salt excess. So that does mean older patients of ours who are taking in a lot of salt and have high blood pressure really need to cut back. On the other hand, it does raise the question whether younger folks who don't have high blood pressure, do they really need to cut back on their salt intake?
Right. It does give some insight, and I think you're right. These are good questions to help generate some newer trials and actually to provide some advice to patients about salt intake. I thought it was interesting
Absolutely.
that they sorted China out as one of the countries that has very, very high salt intakes.